Hi, well, my leave of absence from the PhD is officially up today. So back to the PhD. So I just want to do this video just to chat about how I've prepared for coming back to writing up the thesis. So in February this year, I was granted a leave of absence due to health reasons. Now these health reasons are still here, so it's not going to be an easy journey at all. The terms of a leave of absence is that you do not work on your PhD while you're off. So I didn't, but I did have to stay connected to it because it's a long time to not be working on something, trying to get back into it after 10 months. So I just really want to chat about the ways in which I've stayed connected to the PhD. So one of the first things I've done during the summer is just to write a list of tasks to do for when I get back, so that, you know, I'm not just going in blind and having to search through lots of the data, lots of what I've written so far, and try and find where I'm going next. So I've got a list of tasks to do, which I will be opening up today to I think today I'm just going to re-familiarise myself with what I've kind of prepared over the summer. So that's one way I've tried to stay connected. Another way I tried to stay connected was to write an abstract for a conference that I really thought I'd like to present at. If the abstract was accepted, I was going to decide then whether or not I was going to go ahead and present at the conference. So the abstract was accepted, but I did receive some quite negative feedback. So I think the words were, you know, it was noted that it was of poor quality, and that really knocked my confidence. Really did, and it made me feel really low. My mood was really low, but when I looked at it and I looked at the feedback that they'd given, it made sense. They were right in the things that they'd said. I just think it would be nice if they'd worded it differently, and it was accepted. So it was accepted for a poster presentation, but it did knock my confidence, so I decided not to go ahead and present at the conference. Instead, I thought I'd need to kind of work on my academic writing skills again, because it's been so long and I've really just been out of practice. So I bought a book called How to Write Your Thesis. I think it's by Rowena Murray. I got it from Amazon, and it was a great book, and read that, sat outside in the sun, took some notes. So really just about some tips on how to increase your word count, how to connect with each chapter. I really recommend the book. It was really good. So I'll probably read through my notes today from what I've taken from that as well. Another thing I did to stay connected was just to read through what I'd already written. You know, there's nothing written up in any real sense yet. It's just notes and bits here and there, nothing formulated. But just by reading through that and reading through my data, it just kept me connected with my participants' experiences and my participants' voices. So, you know, I didn't want to lose that while I was off for the 10 months. And that is one thing that does really keep me going, is that I really do want to do something with their experiences. You know, that was the whole point of the research. I don't want it to go to waste. I already feel bad that, you know, I should have submitted a couple of years ago, and here I am still, and these young people will have left school probably by now, and their parents are probably feeling a bit more like, here's another researcher that's came in and hasn't done anything with the findings, which they had kind of mentioned a bit when they agreed to take part in the research. So I feel really bad about that. So it was really important for me to stay connected to the participants' voices and really get those experiences out there. Before coming off on leave of absence and before COVID hit, it was always really good just to have conversations with colleagues, so fellow PhD students who were in the office. We'd all kind of talk through, you know, a certain direction that we were thinking in, and it just really helped to just really form your thoughts a bit clearer. So that is something that I've really missed, just trying to work from home, or just working completely alone, like I'm sure many people will be experiencing right now. And I really feel for new PhD students who have not experienced that yet, and I've just simply been doing it alone. But something I've done to kind of get a little bit of that back is I've signed up to some virtual writing retreats within my faculty. So the first one is at some point this month, so that'll be good timing. It means I'll be able to connect with some fellow students again. It won't be the students that were there when I was first doing my PhD, because they've all done their Viva, passed, they're now doctors, and it's amazing. But it would be sad to not, you know, graduate with them. So because of COVID and because not being able to get back into the office, I've had to prepare some workstations around the house just because if I try and keep one, it just won't work. I thought I had to have some different ones that I can just split up the time with. So I've got this one here, which is just in my bedroom. It's a little desk, got that set up. I've got a desk set up in the spare room with a big PC. I've got my table in the living room, which I can set up my laptop on. I've got a little table at my chair that I can work at, and a table outside in better weather next to the back door so that I can get the Wi-Fi. I've also considered sitting in the car at some points, because I do have a little lap tray, because there's going to be some days that I will have to work from bed, but I was thinking that I could maybe take that and work in the car as well, because it's just removing yourself from distractions. Like, I live at home with my 2 grown sons, and their music can be distracting, or even if they just want to come through and have a chat, if I'm like, say I was working in the living room, so that can be really quite distracting. And of course, you're at home, you've got washing to do, housework to do. If you sit down to watch a programme on TV, you might, it could just end up being a whole afternoon. So there is a lot of distractions, but I do plan on checking out some local places to study at, so some local cafes that have Wi-Fi and accessible parking. So that will be good. I'm going to check those out and see what ones work best. Before COVID, that's what I'd started doing again. I'd started going in and doing some like 1-2 hour sessions in some cafes, and I was getting some bits and bobs done, and then COVID hit, and then that was it. Everything was back, isolating. But another reason that I have to work from home, because I know that at my university there is, people are allowed to start going in and working from the office. One, I was on the shielding list, and I am immunocompromised, so it's probably best that I don't mix with people as much as possible at the minute. But also, just because of my chronic illnesses, just driving to uni is going to take up energy, and sitting at the desk and then maybe chatting with people, socialising, is just going to use up energy that could be best focused on writing up the thesis. And then if I do run out of energy when I'm there, there's always going to be that fear of, do I have the energy to drive home? So, like I said, the reasons for the leave of absence are still there. So it is not going to be easy. So I just need to really think how best to use my energy to try and help myself balance, the illness and life in general and the PhD. Basically themed my days. So I'm hoping this is going to work. I know I have to be flexible, because you never know what you're waking up to with chronic illness. So I've basically themed my days. So what I do now is I have a maintenance Mondays. So maintenance Mondays is where I plan on doing little things around the house, like if the shower plug needs unblocked, little bits need done in the garden, and also personal, if I need to pluck my eyebrows, stuff like that. So that's going to be maintenance Mondays. Tuesdays is task-based Tuesdays. So that's really planning for the tasks ahead in relation to the PhD, but also in relation to life. Like appointments. I've always got lots of appointments, hospital appointments, doctor's appointments. So that's going to be the day where I just sit and plan out how things are going. I used to do it on a Sunday, but I found more that things kind of come up throughout the week. And a lot of phone calls seem to come on the Monday from doctors and stuff. So task-based Tuesdays is just to really sit and really plan how I'm going to be more effective with my days, and then obviously sit and do some work at the desk as well. So it's not just about writing a list and that's me done Tuesday, but it's really just about planning how to do tasks, start doing some of the tasks, and taking it from there. Wednesdays are going to be whatever Wednesdays. So this is a day where I can do whatever I like. So I might choose to work on a PhD if I feel like it, if I feel up for it, or there's just no pressure. I can go visit my daughters if I want to, just chill around the house, just do whatever I want on a Wednesday. So it's whatever Wednesday, and it's halfway through the week, so it's just to take the pressure off. So Thursdays will be thinking Thursdays. So this is really a time for me to really think about the direction of the thesis, thinking about linking theory to my own research. Just where a lot of the thinking is going to come from, where I know on that day I've got to be really get my brain going, see how I'm, where I'm going with all this. So then Friday is going to be Focused Friday. So Focused Friday is where everything that I've kind of been thinking about on the Thursday, I'm going to put into practice on the Friday, really, really be focused, really, add to the word count, build the thesis, really just develop it. And then if I work really hard on a Friday, then it means on Saturdays, which is social Saturdays, I'm going to feel better about, you know, going and having lunch with my mum and Frank, or going and visiting my sister and my nephews. Which again, although fun, does take up a lot of energy. So Sunday is going to be self-care Sunday. And that's just going to be a day where, you know, if I want to go to the cinema, I can go. If I want to just lounge about in my pyjamas all day, I will. You know, it's really just about resting, taking care of yourself, because it's all important. It's so important. But it's really important that on those days that I've set out, you know, that it's going to be PhD work. So it's looking like Tuesdays, Thursdays and Fridays is going to be dedicated to PhD work. So on those days, it is going to be important for me to be disciplined and say no. You know, if my kids are wanting a lift somewhere, kids are all grown, but if they do want a lift somewhere, then it's about being disciplined and saying no, you know, I'm actually working on my PhD. Unless it's an emergency, of course, like one of my daughters is pregnant. So, you know, if she needs to go somewhere, I'm going to take her. But that's another distraction. So that's another big distraction that's coming up next month. And it's when my first grandchild will be born. And it's going to be a huge, huge distraction, but it's going to be a very welcome one, and I can't wait. So it's very exciting. But yes, it's definitely going to take up a lot of my time and my thoughts. And I'm going to want to spend time with them, I know it. So it's just really being prepared for all these distractions. But yeah, no matter how much preparation I put into coming back to the PhD, you know, I am still ill, and I do still have life to do. So there's always going to be cooking, cleaning, just stuff to do around the house. You know, I have to live as well. So energy is just very, very limited. So I'm really going to have to, I suppose, just be prepared to accept that some days I'm not going to be able to do what I wanted to do, and just work really hard on the days that I'm feeling better. So some of that's just going to be really switching around some tasks. So on the days that I'm really, really exhausted and fatigued, then maybe it's just about doing some like little admin things, you know, some practical things, moving stuff around. But on the days when I'm feeling better, that's when I really use my brain. So the thought of returning to the PhD fills me with dread a bit, it really does. And that really makes me sad, because I've always loved my studies. I've always loved my research. I've always had so much focus on it before being ill. But now my priorities have changed. And, you know, there's been just maybe once or twice where I have really, the thought has crept in, you know, really, should I keep doing this? But I couldn't walk away from it. I just couldn't walk away from it. I would never feel right with that. It would be a regret that would, I think, make me very bitter. And, you know, I really, really want to do this. I'm determined to do this. I know it's not going to be easy, but I really, really want to do it. I want to get the participants' voices out. I want to get this PhD written. I want to be Dr. Graham. You know, it's really important to me. So I'm sure I will get there in the end. But everything I've spoken about today, I wrote about in a blog for PhD Women Scotland. So if you head over to WordPress, you'll be able to read everything there, probably more clearly. It's very early this morning, but I know I wanted to do this vlog before actually starting the PhD. So if any of you have any tips about if you've yourself returned from a leave of absence, what helped you, then please do mention it in the comments. I'd love to hear from you.